Wilson J. was about to board a flight to Jamaica with a false passport when authorities closed in on him at Santo Domingo International Airport. Known as Alfaisi, Wilson had smuggled over 3,000 kilos of coke to Europe, mingled with celebrities, and lived a life of luxury. As he was arrested, handcuffed, and taken away, one question lingered. How did he, a master of evasion, slip up so badly? Wilson J., also known by his criminal alias Alfaisi, embarked on his journey into the world of drug trafficking with a keen sense of ambition and an eye for opportunity. Born and raised in the Netherlands, Wilson had drawn to the lucrative yet perilous world of drug smuggling from a young age. Initially, he started small, dealing in local circles and gradually expanding his reach. By the time he was in his mid-20s, Wilson had already established himself as a formidable player in the Dutch underworld. His early operations were characterized by meticulous planning and a relentless drive to climb the ranks of the criminal hierarchy. His gradual rise in the criminal world was marked by a series of calculated moves. He knew that to make a significant impact, he needed to diversify his operations and establish a network that spanned across borders. This realization prompted him to forge alliances with other criminals, both within the Netherlands and beyond. His ability to navigate the deadly business of the drug trade with precision and cunning quickly earned him a reputation as a rising star in the underworld. As Wilson J. gained prominence, he began to expand his network across Europe and South America. His operations were no longer confined to the Netherlands. He had his eyes set on a much larger prize. Using a variety of pseudonyms and aliases, he managed to maintain an air of secrecy around his activities, making it difficult for authorities to track his movements. His use of aliases like Alfaisi allowed him to operate under the radar, facilitating his movement in large-scale drug smuggling operations. Wilson's network was vast and intricate, involving numerous connections and partnerships within the drug trade. He collaborated with other major players in the industry, forming alliances that were mutually beneficial. These partnerships enabled him to coordinate the transportation of massive quantities of coke from South America to Europe. His connections weren't limited to just the criminal underworld. Wilson J. also had ties with corrupt officials and port employees who aided his smuggling activities. These insiders played a crucial role in ensuring the smooth transit of drugs across international borders. In fact, they were the backbone of his operations across different borders. Wilson knew the importance of social influence. In the Dominican Republic, he used a pseudonym to mingle with prominent figures from the entertainment world and the artistic community. This wasn't just a casual hobby, it was a strategic move to bolster his standing and create a facade of legitimacy. By ingratiating himself with celebrities, Wilson managed to create a network of high-profile contacts that provided him with a certain level of protection. These connections allowed him to move in elite circles, making it harder for authorities to track him down. His charm and ability to blend into different social settings made him a chameleon, capable of evading capture while continuing his illicit activities. Wilson's interactions with celebrities and officials also helped him stay informed about potential threats and opportunities. This network of influential contacts provided him with a layer of security that was difficult for law enforcement to penetrate, and he was at the height of his power. His major operations, especially the smuggling of over 3,000 kilos of coke to the Netherlands, marked him as a significant figure in the underworld. This wasn't just a one-time deal. Wilson had a well-oiled machine that facilitated the smooth flow of drugs across continents. His operations were nothing short of elaborate. Imagine fleets of cargo ship and private planes, each meticulously timed and coordinated to transport massive quantities of coke from South America to Europe. Wilson used various smuggling routes, often changing them to avoid detection. One week, drugs might travel hidden in shipments of bananas. The next, they might be stashed in containers of industrial goods. The level of sophistication in his methods was astonishing. Advanced technology, including encrypted communication devices and GPS tracking, ensured that every move was monitored and executed with precision. Corrupt port employees were his eyes and ears on the ground, ensuring that shipments cleared customs without a hitch. For the right price, they turned a blind eye, allowing tons of coke to flow into European markets. This network of corrupt officials extended beyond ports to include law enforcement officers and politicians, all on Wilson's payroll. Their loyalty was bought with vast sums of drug money, making them complicit in his criminal empire. Wilson J's luxurious lifestyle was a stark contrast to the violence and chaos that underpinned his operations. Funded by the profits of his drug trade, he lived like royalty. Picture sprawling luxury villas in the Dominican Republic, each more opulent than the last. These estates were equipped with everything from private pools and helipads to state-of-the-art security systems. His fleet of high-end vehicles was a testament to his wealth and power, with cars ranging from sleek sports models to bulletproof SUVs. But luxury wasn't the only thing that he shone at. Wilson's influence in the criminal underworld was unrivaled. He wasn't just another drug dealer, he was a kingpin, commanding respect and fear in equal measure. His name alone was enough to elicit reactions, and his presence was felt far beyond the borders of the Netherlands. Yet despite his immense power and sheer display of wealth, Wilson remained a master of evasion. His ability to stay one step ahead of the authorities was legendary. He used a combination of bribery, intimidation, and cunning to avoid capture. However, Wilson's reign was not without its dark side. The drug trade is inherently violent, and Wilson's operations were no exception. He wielded his power ruthlessly, using violence to enforce his will and eliminate threats. Killings were not uncommon, with rivals and traitors often meeting brutal ends. His network of enforcers ensured that anyone who crossed him paid the price, maintaining a reign of terror that kept his empire intact. However, Wilson couldn't keep the hold of immense power and eventually crumbled under its weight. While everything seemed like it was smooth sailing, Wilson had made a huge mistake that he didn't even realize. His constant success in evading the law had made him arrogant. It was a decision that seemed minor at the time, but would ultimately lead to his downfall. Attempting to fly to Jamaica with a false passport. This badly calculated move occurred in late August 2023, a time when Wilson's operations were thriving and his confidence was at an all-time high. He arrived at the airport in the Dominican Republic, likely believing he was invincible. After all, he had evaded authorities for years, always staying one step ahead. However, as he approached the immigration desk, the scrutiny of the officers became more intense. His false passport, which had served him well in the past, now drew the wrong kind of attention. The officers, trained to spot discrepancies, quickly realized something was amiss. As they ran his details through the system, Wilson J's true identity was revealed. He was recognized as the man accused of smuggling thousands of kilos of coke to Europe, and his luck had finally run out. The scene at the airport quickly descended into chaos. Authorities moved swiftly to arrest Wilson, knowing the high stakes involved. He was quickly taken into custody. The arrest location was the bustling Santo Domingo International Airport, a hub of activity that now bore witness to the dramatic capture of one of the world's most wanted drug lords. Wilson was handcuffed and led away, his attempt to flee to Jamaica thwarted in an instant. The unmasking of Wilson J sent shockwaves through both the criminal world and law enforcement communities. News of his capture spread rapidly, making headlines across Europe and the Americas. Wilson, who had operated under numerous aliases and maintained a facade of respectability, was now exposed for the criminal mastermind he truly was. The Dutchman, known as Alfaisi, was no longer a shadowy figure, but a captive. Following his arrest, Wilson was transported by private plane to another Caribbean island under heavy guard. The operation to move him was a testament to the international cooperation that had been key in his capture. Law enforcement agencies from multiple countries had pooled their resources and intelligence to bring him down. Upon landing, Wilson was handed over to Dutch authorities, marking a significant victory in the fight against organized crime. The authorities wasted no time in highlighting the significance of Wilson J's arrest. One prominent official remarked, "The capture of Wilson J is a clear demonstration of the power of international cooperation. It shows that no matter how sophisticated these criminal networks are, they are not beyond our reach." President Luis Abinader of the Dominican Republic also weighed in, making a strong statement about the country's commitment to fighting international crime. "We will not allow our nation to be a haven for criminals. The arrest of Wilson J underlines our determination to protect our citizens and our borders from the influence of the mafia," he declared. Wilson J's arrest had far-reaching implications for the ongoing battle against organized crime. It disrupted a major supply chain of coke to Europe and sent a clear message to other drug lords. The net was closing in. The impact on the drug trade was immediate, with law enforcement agencies stepping up their efforts to dismantle the networks Wilson had helped build. The arrest also shed light on the extent of corruption within certain circles, prompting renewed efforts to clean up the ranks of officials who had been complicit in the trade. What are your thoughts on Wilson J's story? Let us know in the comments below. If you like our content, don't forget to check out the channel. We've got many more stories from the underworld to share with you. We'll see you in the next one.